eerie voice begins. Have you ever felt like the floor beneath you holds secrets? Secrets you can't see, but can feel. Stay with me as I tell you the chilling story of the whispers under the floorboards. Our story begins in an old colonial house, tucked away at the edge of a wilting forest. The house belonged to an antiques dealer named Geraldine, a poised woman in her early 50s with an eye for beauty and an unrelenting skepticism toward anything supernatural. Her livelihood depended on her network of auctions, estate sales, and peculiar treasures. It was during one such purchase that she found it, a Victorian music box with intricate carvings of swirling ivy and what looked like tiny human faces hidden among the leaves. It was unsettling, but undeniably exquisite. When Geraldine brought the music box home, she polished it, marveling at its craftsmanship while gently winding the delicate crank. What followed was an eerily beautiful melody, high-pitched and bittersweet, like the sound of a lament. That night, as she drifted to sleep, a dull, thudding sound emanated from beneath her bedroom floor, rhythmic and almost purposeful. It tugged her from her slumber. "Damn those pipes again," she muttered to herself, assuming the old plumbing was to blame once more. But over the next few nights, the thudding transformed into something else. Soft whispers, so faint they might have been mistaken for the rustling of leaves outside. Yet, they were oddly human. Words were indistinct but carried an undeniable tone of pleading. Being highly logical, Geraldine tried rationalizing the noise. "Mice," she said aloud one evening after an exceptionally strange encounter. That night, the whispers grew louder, merging into hushed conversations that seemed to occur directly beneath her bed. Multiple voices murmured, men, women, and even children, all insistent. None of them could truly be understood apart from one chilling phrase that stood out above the rest: "Let us out." Days turned into weeks, and Geraldine's confidence began to falter. By now, she was barely sleeping, a combination of exhaustion and fear consuming her every moment. She tried moving to a different room, but the voices followed, always seeping up from beneath the floorboards. Not just any floorboards, the ones in the rooms where the music box was placed. Out of sheer desperation, Geraldine decided to record the sounds beneath her. She placed a voice recorder under her bed one night, setting it before finally forcing herself into a troubled sleep. By morning, she played it back. The first few minutes were eerily silent, but soon, faint scratching could be heard, like nails brushing against wood. And then, unmistakably, voices, clearer than she'd ever experienced before through her own ears. "We are here," one of the voices rasped faintly, sending shivers down her spine. Then the soft, yet urgent, chorus of cries. "We are trapped. Let us out. Save us." Geraldine dropped the recorder in horror, her blood turning to ice. Refusing to believe what she'd heard, she sought help from experts, first contractors, to inspect the house for any peculiarities below the floor. Each inspection turned up nothing but old beams and cobwebs. One even joked that the house was hiding its ghosts well. Frustrated but determined, Geraldine turned to a local historian, hoping the house's past would point to some logical explanation. What she learned, however, unraveled the deepest thread of her disbelief. Her home, it turned out, had been built over the remains of a sprawling Victorian asylum, specifically its basement infirmary, where patients were allegedly chained to the floor for unruly behavior. Many of them died there, either neglected or from abuse, their bodies buried on site to save money. Telling herself that the story was only history, not her present, Geraldine finally summoned a spiritual medium, a last resort. When the medium arrived, she was immediately drawn to the music box. The room became frigid, and the medium's breath frosted mid-sentence as she exclaimed, this box carries the essence that binds them, bound by suffering and fury." Before Geraldine could respond, the music box began to play on its own, its lid creaking open slowly. The melody distorted into a series of wailing sobs until it cut to silence. Then, the voices erupted from beneath the floorboards, louder and angrier than ever before. "Leave this home!" The voices screamed in unison, shaking the medium so badly she collapsed into Geraldine's arms. Terrified out of her wits, but desperate to stop the torment, Geraldine grabbed the music box and bolted to the forest behind her home. She found an upturned tree stump, dug as deep a hole as she could manage, and buried the box there. For good measure, she slammed an iron spike into the earth to seal, as the medium had described it. For the first few days after, the house was completely silent. There were no voices, no whispers, no sounds beneath the floorboards. But Geraldine couldn't shake the paranoia that followed, and for good reason. 2 weeks later, a new sound began, a faint, repetitive knocking at her front door. And always, it was followed by one dreadful whisper, distinct and familiar. "Why did you leave us?" It was then Geraldine realized that some secrets follow us forever. As we sit here, thinking of the sanctity of our homes, remember that the ground beneath may hold stories older and darker than we can comprehend. Would you check beneath your floorboards tonight? Drawn out piano note for emphasis. This was The Whispers Under the Floorboards. End scene with fading whisper sound effect. Let us out.